What is going on, guys? My name is Lextasy and welcome back to the channel. And as you can tell, behind me is my brand new, or well, new to me, 2020 Ford Raptor. Now, from everybody that watches the channel and knows this channel, you know we're a Mopar family. My wife has a 1,000 horsepower Durango. I've had multiple Hellcat Chargers, but why is there a Ford behind me? And why is this the second Ford that I'm owning? Because I already have a 1,000 horsepower F-150 that we're going to be drag racing quite often. And that's because, quite honestly, this thing has impressed me in a lot of good ways. So today I'm going to compare the stats of the Ram TRX compared to this 2020 Ford Raptor. Then I'm going to give you the 3 things I like and dislike about this Raptor, and then I'm going to give you my personal opinion. If they were both standing in front of me, which one would I choose to own and drive daily? And I have owned over 60 vehicles that have been registered in my name, and I gotta say, this isn't like a review of me just going to a dealership and grabbing one and driving for a few hours and putting a few miles and telling you what I think I like and dislike about it. This is me actually owning them and telling you what I personally like and dislike after driving them through all kinds of terrains, after pushing them to the limits. And I gotta be honest, man, this Ford Raptor has impressed me in so many good ways. So without further ado, guys, I am excited to share my experience and share my humble opinion about this Ford Raptor. So let's get this video going. So the first thing I want to do, guys, is actually show you the window sticker of this 2020 Raptor. That way we're all on the same page when it comes to what are the options that I chose and what kind of a Raptor we're actually comparing to the Ram TRX. So that way we're all on the same page. So this one does have the $10,000 802 equipment group, which is pretty much gives you a fully loaded Raptor. It's got upgraded, of course, axles. It's got the heated steering wheel and inflatable rear seat belts, which is pretty cool. You do have the integrated trailer brake controller, which is super important to me because I will be towing with this. Remote start and, of course, Bang & Olufsen sound system, which I personally love. It sounds so crispy in here. And then it does have the panoramic moonroof, or whatever you want to call it. And then you got the tailgate step, which this one's missing, so somebody took it off, and you got heated rear seats. So the sticker price on this truck is right at $73,190. So 2017 and up, all the Raptors got the V6 twin turbo EcoBoost, or as everybody calls it, EcoBeast motor, which puts out about 450 horsepower and about 510 foot-pounds of torque. This truck is completely stock. There's nothing done to it. I want it that way. This 450 horsepower, I know sounds like not a lot for a 5,600-pound truck, but believe me, you got the low-end torque and the power that you need for doing everything off-roading that you would be doing in a truck like this. When they first created the Raptor, they took it to the Baja 1000, which is like the biggest, most ultimate off-road sand dunes race that's ever done. It's like 1,000 miles, and it really pushes every truck to its max goal or potential, and it really stresses every part of the truck, from the engine to the whole driveline and everything like that. So most trucks that enter are completely built. They got a bunch of money, I mean thousands of dollars invested into these trucks. Before it took a completely stock Ford Raptor to one of these Baja 1000 races and completely demolished everybody. It took first place right off the factory floor. So that was an extremely big hype for the truck, and it got a lot of sales going. And of course I see why, because this thing is quite honestly pretty freaking cool. So let's compare this to the Ram TRX. Ram TRX has 700 horsepower. This has 450 horsepower. The Ram TRX has 650 foot-pounds of torque. This has 510, right? So you're like, whoa, man, that is a big difference in power. But this thing weighs 700 pounds less than a Ram TRX. 5,600 compared to 6,300 is an insane amount of difference. That is weight that you can actually feel whenever you're driving. Suspension is set up the same. Now this has Fox Racing live shocks, I guess is what they call them. So this thing is always monitoring what kind of all-terrain you're driving on to adjust the shock and the suspension and the height and the comfort of the drive. The Ram TRX has Bilstein shocks with the same dampening system as well that's able to control it. Now both trucks height-wise are about 77-78 inches, so the height is the same. They both have 13 inches of shock travel, or height travel, I guess you say, suspension travel. So if they are to jump, that is how far the suspension can stretch itself out. So they compare about the same. The ground clearance is about the same as well. Power and torque and the weight is the biggest difference for these trucks. So they somewhat are pretty much the same. Honestly, it's not hard to see why they both are such amazing off-road vehicles. Now, for somebody that's going to be driving one of these vehicles every single day, I will say the biggest difference you're going to notice is 16 miles a gallon premium, or 8 miles a gallon on the Ram TRX premium as well. That's double the gas mileage to drive one of these bad boys. So that is is a huge difference between both vehicles. Now, I also did a video on my Ram TRX when I owned it of taking it and gutting it as much as I could to get the weight reduction on that truck so I could take it to the drag strip and put out a better time. So I took all the seats out, I took the ram bar, or the roll bar I guess you can call it, and it still weighed more than the Raptor with all of its weight from factory. So it just tells you how heavy that Ram TRX is. Now let's talk about the 3 things I like and dislike about this Raptor. The first thing that I really dislike, and you will see it in the next section because we're going to take this bad boy off-roading and really put it to its limits or through some tests, but the suspension with only 62,000 miles on this truck, which is a little bit higher for 2020, it is already making noises. It's squeaking. I'm guessing the bushings need to be replaced, but 62,000 miles, you shouldn't be able to really hear that on a vehicle that's designed for off-road capability. So you will hear that part. That has got to be some sort of issue from factory, or they use some cheap, I don't know, suspension parts, bushings, whatever it is, but they literally are creaking and making all kinds of noises, and I hate it. I really, really hate it. Now, the second thing I dislike is the fact that the interior of the Raptor is, this part is all decent. It's got a really nice big screen in there, but this is all outdated. Now, this is a 2020, and in 2021 they completely remodeled this, made a bigger screen here, less buttons, because buttons is a thing of the past. I would say everybody's going away from having a bunch of all these. I mean, count here is probably 20 buttons in this thing for heated, cooled seats and everything in between, but everybody wants that big touch screen just like the Ram TRX has. That's about what, 12 or 14 inches big, which is very nice and fancy, and people loved it, and I personally enjoy that part of the Ram TRX as well. So the dash, the center dash of the Raptor does need to be updated, and it was updated in 2021. So it was updated right when the TRX came out, which is a big thing, and it was a very smart move by Ford. And the last thing that I dislike about the Ford Raptor, and a lot of people that buy these 3.5 EcoBoost will know, it is the cam phaser issue that some of these trucks have. Now, fortunately, even with 60,000 miles, mine does not have that rattle. So the rattle that I'm talking about, and it's a good way whenever you're looking to buy one of these, is let them remote start it or start it in the first 2 to 3 seconds. If you hear a little bit of a rattle on the front of the engine, that means the cam phasers are about to go out. So it definitely needs to be replaced. Like I said, luckily mine does not have that issue. If it does, it costs probably $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 to do. There is some revisions made by Ford to fix that issue. So the ones that are truly prone to it is a 3.5s from 17 to 20. So if you're looking for a 2021 Raptor, you should be fine. But again, no promises there. These are just a little bit more prone to that issue, which can be fixed by the dealer, especially if you buy the truck with warranty. Now, let's move on to the 3 things I truly enjoy about this Ford Raptor. And the first one is just the freaking mean look of this truck. Am I gonna say it looks better than the TRX? It looks about the same. You know, they both have their characters, they both have different like face and looks of them. Both are extremely wide vehicles, wide fender flares on them. I love the front end of it. I love how the bumper sits up higher, and you can truly tell it's got that massive ground clearance underneath with those massive tires. Everything about this truck just speaks that like, hey man, let me go jump something. It looks like it will be extremely comfortable in an off-road situation, and that's exactly what this one was designed for. Now, the second thing that I truly love about this truck is that it was actually made, and you can tell it was made to be an off-road adventure overland vehicle. And what I mean by that is everything about this truck was designed that you can make it and style it the way you want to, right? So first thing that I noticed is, for example, here, there is no fog lights here. It's just a completely empty space, which is kind of like, well, why would you do something like that? Why would you not have fog lights in here? And speaking from experience, I'm just going to tell you, these headlights are already extremely bright, especially in an off-road situation. But I like the fact that Ford gave you this option here to be able to put whatever you want to when it comes to maybe off-road lights, or if you want fog lights, bright LEDs, you can customize this truck to look however you want to. And then you can also take this part out. I've seen people do it, and you can put a winch behind it if you want to, or really change this whole bumper. Another thing, this is straight metal. This is not a plastic bumper. This is designed to be taken off-road and run through some bushes and whatever you decide or have to go through to get to whatever destination you're going. And on top of that, look at these buttons right here. This part right here always blows me away and makes me feel like super cool, I guess you can say. But you got these auxiliary buttons here, so you can actually wire whatever lights you want in there. So if you put fog lights in the front, you can wire it through the fuse box, and when you kick this on right here, boom, you got yourself fog lights that are extremely bright, and you feel comfortable driving off-roading in the middle of the night or whatever you're doing. And the number one thing that I truly love about this Ford Raptor is the suspension. This truck truck literally floats. Whether you're driving on the road, whether you're off-roading, it does not matter. I have never felt suspension so smooth in my life. It has barely any roll at all in the body compared to a Ram TRX, which is still top heavy. And I gotta say, I love this engine sound. And I don't know if you can hear it. You probably can't hear the turbos, but I love that you can hear this turbo spooling up as well. Those twin turbo V6 actually sounds pretty good. It's not that bad, and I know everything is going that way, right? V8s are gone. This is the new thing. This are 4 cylinders, but I love the EcoBoost. I honestly do. Like I said, everything is stock on this truck. There's no intake, there's no turbos done, but it sounds amazing. Watch when I mash on it. It actually sounds like a tank. But what's the best way to test out the suspension off-roading than to actually take the road less traveled, because this is what the Raptor is designed for. Now, I don't know if you will, but at one point or another, you're gonna hear the suspension making that squeaking noise that I told you about. It sucks. It's extremely annoying, but that is part of it. I mean, like I said, 60,000 miles. This is the one thing that I don't like about the Raptor, and it kind of really is minimal, but it's still there. And I truly do hate that sound, man, that squeaking sound. And the more dust we get on it, the worse it sounds. But this thing handles curves, it handles bumps, rocks, mud, everything so freaking amazing. Like, I love this truck, man. When I get on it, like this road, we've been with the family. As you can tell, there's car seats in the back because we love taking this thing off-roading. And the reason we bought this truck is not to go drag strip racing or street racing or to do really any of those mods. This is all for overlanding. We do want to put a rooftop camper on this thing and just go out and be able to go off-roading like this and just park somewhere, put the tent up and have fun with the kids and have no cell service, nothing like that. But I love the way this truck feels. Now, as you can tell, this road is used quite often. It is an awesome road for the Blue Ridge Parkway, and I'm definitely not trying to run these folks over who are just here for a quick little stroll, and then a massive Raptor comes around, and I do apologize for that, guys. So let's see if I can get around and not be, nope, probably not. Nope, so sorry. This road's a little tight for everybody. Look at this straightaway right here, so we can really get on it if we want to. God, I've never felt so comfortable doing 40 miles an hour off-roading. Oh my goodness, I am dusting those people. I'm sorry, guys, I forgot. Oh, I'm so not used to off-roading. Guys, I am so sorry. That was very rude of me. Was that a mouse? That was a mouse running across. It's nature, guys. That's what this thing is for. But I do want to put some really nice off-road fog lights on here, really deck this thing out, give it maybe a little bit more power with a small tune, but we really want to experience off-roading like these folks are doing and having a lot of fun. And it's just something different about being able to do this instead of you know, street racing all the time. But I gotta say, we went and took this truck the first week of ownership to Max Patch, and quite honestly, there was this one road. Everything is gravel, right? You get off the highway on Highway 40. If anybody's been up there, it is amazing. If you haven't, definitely check it out. It is worth the little hike, but the road there to get there is like 10 miles or so of just straight gravel. And on the way back, we took a right because we seen a bear, and that ended up being like a service road. So when we got on the service road, some of that road was washed out, and it turns out we were heading all the way to Tennessee. We had no idea, but the road was completely washed out in spots where this thing definitely had to work. And I gotta say, I loved it. Like, it was not even once did I feel any nervousness about taking this off-road or going and doing the things that truck did. The road was a little tight. I'll post up photos here of what it looked like, but I just love that how well this thing handles bumps. God, that was awesome. That thing just kicked me sideways, man. I want to get on it, but I don't want to because I'm trying to be nice and respectful to everybody that's camping here, because from the outside it probably is a little bit loud running through these rocks with these massive tires. But I just gotta say, guys, I can't stress it enough. I love the way the suspension feels on this. TRX was just about the same, except it was a little stiffer. I mean, that's just something you can look at anybody's reviews. They say the same exact thing. Suspension is substantially stiffer on the TRX. And that's one thing that's a big flaw in that truck, because technically it is designed to be an off-road truck. So why is the suspension set up so much stiffer? Why is the truck so much heavier? When if you think about it, when you're off-roading, you don't want a heavy truck. Heavy truck means when you hit mud, it's gonna sink you in, right? The more weight you have, the more you gotta move through that dirt or whatever you're going through the rocks. Then it's just a lot harder to do rock crawling or any of those things with a truck that weighs 700 pounds more, because it all plays a role in how quickly you can float, I guess, through the mud or whatever you're doing. So let's pull over real quick and let's talk for a second about which one would I buy if I had the opportunity to get either one right now. They're both parked in front of me, even a 2020 Raptor and let's say a 2021 used TRX. So let's pull over real quick and let's talk for a minute. All right, so now that we are in our natural habitat with the Ford Raptor, which one would I choose, right? Let's say they're both parked right here looking really sick on this off-road terrain. I don't even know where I'm at. I'm in the middle of Blue Ridge Parkway, but which option would I choose to drive daily to be able to go off-roading and overlanding? Here's my honest opinion, guys. Keep in mind, this is not me just taking it from the dealership, driving it for a few miles and saying, hey, you can have it back. Here's what I think of them. This is me owning. I had a Ram TRX for about 4 or 5 months. I've had this one for over a month now. And I gotta say, I would pick the Raptor. Now, here's why. Because in my opinion, and if you've driven both, you're gonna know what I mean, but it feels like the Ram TRX has a personality disorder. It's got a personality issue because it doesn't know what it wants to be. The suspension is stiffer than the Raptor. It weighs a lot more. So it doesn't really do off-roading very well, but at the same time, the 700 horsepower is not really gonna do very well at the track when you weigh so much too, right? So it doesn't know if it wants to be a drag strip or a race truck, or is it an off-road vehicle, right? There's no need for 700 horsepower whenever you're off-roading. There's no place that you're going to be doing 140 miles an hour out here. 450 horsepower with low-end torque like this truck has is plenty to get through these rocks and whatever you're going through mudding, and just to be able to enjoy the off-road scenery. So in my humble opinion, I would honestly, and I can't believe I'm saying this, pick a Ford Raptor over a Ram TRX. This truck does everything well. It feels so comfortable in this habitat, in this off-roading terrain. It just feels like it belongs here. I remember coming back from Max Patch and we were getting to Highway 40 and I was like, man, it's almost sad to get up back on the pavement and back on the straight highway roads, man. I really want to continue driving it. We drove that truck for about 60 miles on just all kinds of gravel and washed out roads and rock gravel road. It was awesome. Like, I honestly enjoyed it so much that pretty much every other day or about 2 or 3 times a week, me and the family hop into the Raptor and we start to just travel and explore and find other trails that are not marked on the navigation or people don't know about. And I feel comfortable taking my family out there because I know that it's going to do well. It's not going to leave us stranded. It's got plenty of power and it can get through anything. And like I said, this is a completely stock truck, but it looks amazing. It does the job exactly what it was designed for. It feels like somebody actually put the time into designing and testing this vehicle to make sure that the Raptor is something that can handle any terrain. It's well balanced. It can do the Baja 1000 without any problems whatsoever. The Ram TRX, love the truck, but it feels like that I love the Hellcat motor, don't get me wrong. If they could put it in the Chrysler Pacifica, I would buy one of those. But it feels like they stuck that motor just to say they have more horsepower, but the full research and the design and the testing wasn't really done to make it a balanced truck, right? It's super heavy, it's top heavy. It just, I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit of overkill, and because it's overkill, it's just not balanced truck that you want to be able to enjoy and have fun and still get great gas mileage, by the way. So I can't believe I'm saying it, but the Ford Raptor is my option between the Ram TRX, and I know some people will disagree. Comment down below, what do you think? What would you choose if you had the option to choose even between a 2021 Raptor or the Ram TRX? Which one would you pick? This Ford truck was designed and done right. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like, drop a comment. Literally, I want to know, like, seriously, what do you think? What is another competitor for the Raptor? I will compare. I'll go buy one. I don't care what the truck is, and I'll give you my honest opinion whether the Raptor beats whatever other vehicle you want me to compare it to, or what do you think of the Ram TRX, honestly. So I love my TRX. I really did. It had so much power. The supercharger winder was amazing, but at the end of the day, that's not what it was designed for. It is designed to be an off-road truck, and this one does it better than the TRX. So thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy your lives, enjoy your cars, enjoy your trucks, enjoy your time off whenever you get it, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.